you have been canvassing for months. And at those canvasses, at those fundraisers, at those events, when we introduce our candidates, we use a language of hope. We say the next assembly member, the next state senator, the next congressperson. Tonight, we use a language of fact. So please join me in welcoming up to the stage Assemblywoman Deanna Moreno, Assemblymember David Orkin, Assemblywoman Samantha Catan, State Senator Abir Kawas, and the one, the only, Congresswoman Claire Valdez. Now, Claire was. And you're going to hear from every one of these incredible candidates. But before I leave, I just wanted to share a few words with all of you, which is first and foremost, this is your victory. What you all have shown this evening, whether for state assembly, state senate, or Congress, is that a year ago, it was not the end of a political movement. It was the beginning. And I want to thank you because in this room, I see those who believed no matter what tweet they read from Michael Lang. They believed. They put that anxiety into shifts. They put it into door knocks, into phone calls. Raise your hand if you canvass. Those are the hands that won this race. And every single one of these incredible candidates, they are going to be the partners in transforming the most expensive city in the United States of America into one that working New Yorkers can afford. So one more time, let's hear it for Deanna Moreno. Let's hear it for David Orkin. Let's hear it for Samantha Catan. Let's hear it for Abir Kawas. Let's hear it for Claire Valdez. And let's hear it for a politics that will never forget working people. For a politics that is ready to write a new chapter in our party's history. And for a politics that realizes the old politics that got us to this crisis is not the politics that's going to get us out of this crisis. It's time for working people to be back at the heart of our politics. These are the champions who will do it. Thank you all so much.
Hell yeah.
Welcome to Absurdity Space, episode 20. Woo, 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 woo.
Socialism has taken over New York City, y'all. Let's go.
It's yeah, I think it's crazy. It's been a crazy few weeks. It's like the Knicks won. First, Trump went to the Knicks game and the Knicks lost, and then the next time, like the fifth game, they won the playoffs because Trump wasn't there.
Yeah,
nice of them to give them a do-over. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's crazy. New York City's been busy. I contacted my Mom Donnie staffer and was like, things are busy. Just let me know when things have died down. He's like, don't worry, we will. I can't believe I have a protege for Twitch.
A Mom Donnie protege.
I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to mentor the New York City DSA Twitch channel to know about it.
The night the Knicks lost, I was when I touched down on the plane in LaGuardia.
And people were going nuts, like angry, pissed off, were they?
Yeah. Well, I didn't. I mean, I was at LaGuardia, so I didn't see it. It's kind of outside of the city, but it's like I don't know. I was getting a car back to Long Island, and I was like talking to the guy, and I was like, but I hadn't because I wasn't on a plane obviously, so I didn't know that they had lost, and I was like, yeah, it seems like everything's crazy out there. Is that why it took like forever to get off the runway? And he's like, no, probably not, but they lost like by like a couple points.
Yeah. But they came back and people went nuts, and Jon Stewart was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And people were twerking and off of buses and doing backflips off of lampposts. I'm like, damn. And then, but remember, Forrest, there were millions of people doing, burning buses and vandalizing and beating up police horses for some reason. And I'm like, my uncle was saying that. I'm like, first of all, none of that shit was really happening. I mean, regardless, it's always in blue cities. I'm like, regardless of a sports event, like a big championship, people are going to riot a little no matter what the outcome is. It's not something that just happens to like in New York or Los Angeles.
Well, the one place that it really, really happens, like that it really kind of messes stuff up is Philly. Whenever Philly
Fly
wins,
Eagles,
loses, anything, they really are like people really do go crazy in Philly. But New York's never really been to that level. There's too many cops for New York to be at that level. Like, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
there's like a cop on every corner.
That's like the one flaw that Mamdani has, in my opinion, is still giving cops like the NYPD a lot of money. So, but I'll do, but like I don't, it's like what can you do at this point,
Yeah, I think you have to build power to take on the NYPD. Like you really have to build power. De Blasio's big thing was originally that he was going to take on the NYPD, and they doxed his daughter, tried to arrest her, sent her death threats. Like there's I don't know. You have to really. I think that's the lesson of the De Blasio administration. Really, is that like you have to if that is going to be your goal. I don't think that is going to be Zoran's goal because I think Zoran has other goals. But if that's going to be your goal, you have to build up like a power base to really do that, because the NYPD, what it is an alternative power base to City Hall. I mean, if you lose the NYPD, things can get real shaky real fast. I remember like I've seen the clip a million times, and he died like not that long ago when David Dinkins was mayor. And all the cops turned their back on him, and that's why Rudy Giuliani won a couple years later. And it's obviously
he killed all the homeless, and backward hicks from Ohio weren't afraid to go to New York City anymore.
I mean, what he really did, and what Eric Adams also kind of did, is he sent them up here. He would give the homeless one-way bus tickets. He'd send them up here, and basically like Eric Adams started doing that, not with the homeless, but with migrants. He would bring the migrants up here. And, there was in Orange County, like 20 minutes from where I live, like Newburgh, like that area, there would be like these hotels, and the Eric Adams administration wouldn't tell, like they would take out a bunch of rooms in these hotels, but they wouldn't tell the people in the actual like county or whatever that what they were doing with the hotels, and then they would put all the migrants in that hotel, and it messes it up because it's like their court dates are in New York City.
Yeah.
Okay, then you have to get transportation to get them from Orange County an hour away to New York City. But the whole thing was that Eric Adams was talking about like a housing crisis that he wanted to fix by getting migrants out, because it was kind of the same language that Republicans were using.
Yeah, it's just not fun having to deal with like, I mean, $6 billion, dollars. That's like some, very, very small countries, military budget.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just like, but yeah, when it, like a lot of the big thing that people always talk about here, like the big thing that would happen during the Giuliani administration is that they would give one-way bus tickets to the homeless, essentially. So you'd be like, they'd come up here and then they wouldn't give them a way to get back to the city.
Yeah,
kind of like.
But last night, crazy. We got done just in time for Norlisa to be announced as the winner. Which, by the way, stop betting on these races, because so many people were betting like, oh, she has a 69% chance of losing, and it's like, and she won.
Yeah, can you hear me better?
Like, they all won. Like Brad Lander, like I was surprised. Like that was.
Can you hear me better now on this mic?
No, I can't.
Huh.
I don't know. It might be my earbuds. I have no idea what's going on, but I can barely hear you.
Hey chat. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, chat? Can you hear me?
Just if you bring your mouth very close to the mic, I can hear
you.
you.
Hear me? Yeah, I think it's it was kind of crazy. I didn't know whether Lisa was going to win. It's hard. I mean, Kalshi and Polymarket both have like Don Jr. on their boards.
Yeah.
And also like I don't know, the whole thing that people
you're
do
giving them money technically when you're losing.
He hears me. Johnny hears me.
Oh, well, usually you're a lot louder, so I don't know. But maybe it's my earbuds. I don't know. My cat's messing with them. But yeah. So 3 for 3, and of course, some of the totally not paid ops that we see. Every time someone needs a punch left, they get boosted on Instagram or Twitter and on TikTok, and I just quote tweeted one of them. They're like, "Oh, instead, DSA wins, but now they're bitching at Richie Torres." I'm like, why? First of all, you're definitely getting paid by like pro-Israel Democratic organization, because why the fuck would you carry water for Richie Torres, dude? Like, again, I forgot. I think his name's like Chris Cadence or something like that. I'm like, you used to be like some of these people used to be like left leaning. Like, I've had people like organizations reach out to me like, "Yo, do you want to get paid?" I'm like, no, I know I need money, but I'm not selling out like that. That's just not who I am.
Yeah, well, the worst one is Threads. I don't know if you ever checked Threads.
I check Threads every once in a while, and I'm like, yeah, I can't do this. I'm out. Bye-bye. I take a peep, and I'm like...
Sometimes I'll be on my phone, I'll just be so bored that I'm like, all right, what other social media check? It'll be like 3 a.m., and I'm like, okay, nothing's happening on Twitter. What other things can I check right now? And I'm like, oh, Threads. And then Threads, every single time, it's like 2016 identity politics style too. It's like always.
Yeah. It drives me nuts every time, because I'm just like, really, we're never gonna leave 2016. Like,
yeah, it's the long 2016.
It's 10 years, guys. This is why DSA is doing something. Like, the resistance failed us. They didn't do anything besides, make pussy hats and do like a fun block party march on his inauguration day, and that was it. We elected the squad. 2 years later, for most part, and we're slowly but surely expanding on it. AOC is continuing to be somewhat of a disappointment when it comes to some of these races, or whether or not she's going to endorse or whatever. Still supporting very problematic people in New York City who are very much critical of Mamdani. So it's like, it's kind of good. We're getting more people who are more left leaning than her.
She's kind of, I think she wants to run for either president, or at least run for president and then be brought into somebody else's cabinet or something like that. Yeah. Because I really think so, because it's like, she's being very cautious about these kinds of things. I think it's probably less about an ideological thing and more about wanting to have a record of some sort, so that it's like, she's gotten
and yet the Democratic establishment still doesn't like her. So it's like, what, why even do all this?
Because I mean, I think a lot of it's the media. The media keeps score. They're like, oh, they do it with Bernie. So like, I mean, Bernie's gotten more cautious too, because it's like every single time, if you go a certain amount of times, on people, it's like, oh, these are your coattails. Like, you've been able to pull people across the country, onto your coattails essentially, and by your endorsement. And it's like, that's how during these races, like, somebody's ideology and also their clout, I guess, is really measured. It's like how many people can get elected. So politicians become more and more politicians become more and more like cautious about who they endorse for that reason.
Yeah. But for some they don't. They're like, I mean, like, with all this stuff about Graham Plattner, like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, like, we're still sticking by him regardless of whatever comes out. And also too, they focus on Darlisa to the point where it's like, Graham Plattner who?
Yeah. Well, I think also there's a difference between
and the critique of her is like, she's Haitian, and it's like, we're really doing the Democratic version of they're eating the cats and they're eating the dogs right now. Like, I don't understand why the Democrats claim to be, we're the party of, like, we want to tackle racism and this and that and other thing. But all these young Democratic socialist candidates who are of color, who are running, are dealing with anti-blackness, Islamophobia. I don't understand. You guys are supposed to be going after Republicans who do this stuff. You're only helping Republicans. They say we do it. They're the ones who are doing it, because the DSA is actually finally getting their shit together, especially in New York City and like throughout like the East, upper, like tri-state area, and maybe even the Midwest. But they are doing the damn thing, because, like I mentioned before, the resistance it came and went. It's time to actually finally do something. And thank God, for about a decade, the main critique is that DSA hasn't gotten its shit together. Well, it finally
National
has.
DSA still
Yeah, National DSA.
still has not gotten their shit together at all. But there's local chapters that have. Although a lot of the people,
particularly New York City DSA, but not even LA DSA, like can't even like.
I don't think LA DSA ever will. The politics of California seems so like, I don't know. I mean, I think it's just the fact that Silicon Valley is there, and like they're like corporate interests of a whole bunch of kinds. I mean, defense and technology obviously has always been there. Like all kinds of farming, like pistachio farming. They made that really good. Yash Levine made that really good movie about pistachio wars in California.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's just so many corporate interests in California that it's incredibly hard to actually get a campaign that at least a statewide one, right? Like or like a like it seems like LA DSA kind of. I mean, I don't know. Nithya Raman doesn't seem great, but she still is somebody from
it
that
doesn't
world.
look like she has much of a but also too, they're not doing any building over there. Like at least with New York City for the last, I guess, with Mamdani, they've been really trying to like build something, because it doesn't seem like AOC really is focused on building like DSA in the area.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to like. I don't know. It seems like the Congress side of it, right? Like it's a lot harder to keep people in line when it comes to DSA than it is with like state and like municipal elections, which I think New York has been throughout this last decade. New York's been pretty good with state elections and municipal elections. I remember there was a whole thing. Maybe it was 2018, maybe it was 2022. But there was like a thing where like a century ago, 5 socialists were essentially elected to the New York State legislature, and then they didn't seat them and they kicked them out essentially like within an amount of time. But the same kind of 5 socialists this time obviously did get seated, but the exact same number like a century later got elected. So it was like a big deal because it was like a century. And I think all of those, or at least 3 out of 4 of the ones in the 1900s that got elected, like they got their seats back again. They ran for a second time. They still were like, no socialists allowed, because it was right after the Palmer raids, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I'm happy though, because it just, this move to up north can't come any sooner. I'll be in time where everything is getting so good, and then maybe I could live with Dan. I don't know. But it goes to show that change is happening, and I'm looking forward to it. And Hassan needs to move to New York City, because it seems like he's always there now. Like he'll go home to California for like 1 day, and then he's in New York City for like 3 days. And I'm like, dude, just do it already.
I need to start going more. People invite me to go to like do stuff, and then I'm like,
do it.
I have to take the bus and everything, and I'm like, I don't want to take the bus.
Who cares? I would take the bus. I take the train. I don't care.
And the bus goes through New Jersey, and like
the wheels on the bus go to Newark, where people will piss front facing you, and that's just weird. But whatever.
It goes through Fort Lee. It goes through like that whole area, like right before Newark. You know what I mean? Like that it crosses over. But it's like I'm like, why is that the route? I feel like the thruway should be the route, and it should go right to New York City, like I do when I'm in a car. Like,
yeah.
The bus,
free buses. Oh my god, we were watching some Fox News clips like from like the 5 and whatever like hours before, like they're like, oh, the Democrats are not allowing this. It's just they're underestimating these left-wing insurgent candidates. But then when things are like, oh my god, they are doing pretty well, that's when they attack, and it's kind of like too late, because it's like, fuck Kamala Harris. Oh, she's gonna lose because no, she didn't.
Yeah.
Like, it's getting to the point where it's like nothing, unless it's something like a real big scandal, like you committed crimes on Epstein Island, but even then that doesn't do anything. But like if you're actually doing something like an Eric Swalwell type, or gold insider trading beforehand, or whatever the hell, like you're gonna have trouble. But if you're a millennial and you posted stuff online, and I even said it, like, if I'm gonna run for Senate against Cory Booker, I'm gonna be like oldchristinatweets.com and be like, looky here, people. I even have them dated and organized. So you can tell, here are my mental breakdowns. Here are offensive things I said. Here's what I said about this person. Here's what I said about that person. And that's what people are going to have to start doing now. And I will highly recommend, when I get into politics and work, I'm going to be like, this is what you're going to do. You're how old? You're 28. Okay. You did you delete anything? No. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. And that, I feel like that type of strategy would work, because it's like, damn, they're really airing out all the laundry, especially if you haven't deleted. But then again, there's a way back machine. You can find deleted stuff regardless at this point. So it's like, you got to figure out, like, and it's been addressed, especially with like Zoran's wife. I'm like, first of all, she's not the mayor. Second of all, as you said, she was posting like pro-America stuff. But it's like, back in the day, unfortunately, millennials were saying all kinds of slurs. I mean, some of us didn't. Some of us would, post in context with quotations, but even then we learned that's still not appropriate to do. We've moved on, but unfortunately we've regressed to the point where people are, especially liberals, are saying a lot of slurs and using the F slur against, progressives and whatnot. And it's like, you guys are such hypocrites, bleeding heart liberal, my ass.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think people are, I don't know. I think there's a kind of, like transgressive attitude towards stuff where it's like people are just tired of being told what they can and can't say or what they can and can't do.
Yeah, especially in the post-Trump world. Like, we're never going to go back to like decency in politics.
But I've always hated decency. I've always hated.
Yes. We go, we fight on the Senate floor, but we go to the country club together. No, I don't want to hear that, because that's just being performative.
Although I was one of the people that was like, like, hell yeah, if John Fetterman doesn't want to wear a suit, he wants to wear a hoodie. And then the second he became like a insane right winger, it was clear that his brain is melted. I was like, okay, but get this guy in a suit. I don't want to hear from him.
Yeah, I mean, Graham Platter's gonna come in the Senate looking like a lumberjack, and I could appreciate that. Wearing like polo shirts or plaid shirts.
I don't know. Now I just think everyone should wear a suit when they go to the Senate. I've gotten.
I feel like Hassan should not be wearing suits anymore. I'm like, stop it. If you're gonna wear a DSA hat, stop it.
His head really is.
Your $500, Louis Vuitton shirt or whatever the hell you're wearing.
By the way, my I guess like this was like 2-3 months ago. My state assembly member, Sarah Hanna, was one of the people, like was one of the early people to endorse Steriliza. She's a DSA member too.
Yeah, apparently Hassan's not a member of DSA. He was like, I was a little drunk last night. Did you see the video of him and Emma celebrating Doraliza's
I saw the picture they took. I didn't see that. I don't know. I haven't really been watching that much stuff. I've been watching Robert Mitchum movies. That's really what I've been. That's what I've been.
Well, that's a good way to stay off Twitter.
But I was kind of
they were like, woohoo,
on my phone while I was doing that. I was having fun watching. I was watching El Dorado, the John Wayne movie. Yeah, or everyone should. You know what I would approve of? I would approve of people wearing like the Devo costume with like the cone hat. Like if somebody wore that to Congress, I'd be like, all right, I'm cool with that. The yellow suit and the red cone hat. You must whip it. Now whip it. Whip it good.
We gotta whip the Democrats up together. Come on, Clyburn. Isn't that your job?
Yeah, it's the whip.
Yeah, he's kind of failing at that.
This is the worst. All right, this is the worst AI video I've ever seen, but now it's stuck in my head.
Oh no.
Yeah, this has melted my brain. You ready? It's so funny.
Oh god. Is this real? Yes.
Right then, Prime Minister. Here we fucking go.
Oh god.
Every like 10 minutes, my brain goes,
who's gonna be? I mean, it's kind of crazy because the Labor Party really moved to like center right. They're supposed to be, oh god, seriously? Sorry, I just saw something that made me mad. But because people forget, Bernie Sanders' brother Larry is a part of the Green Party, and it's so weird that like you can tell he's Bernie's brother, but like listening to him, it's like, oh, he still has that thick Brooklynite accent, but then there's like a slight British twist to it, and it's listening to him, and I'm like, Wow, he's cool. He's pretty cool too. Like I feel like with him being like, because the Green might as well be like what the Labour Party should have been, because they're more the like left leaning party in the parliament, right? The Green Party over there.
I don't know. Green
Slightly.
politics. Green, yeah, I guess, but green politics has always had like extreme limits. I mean, you know, they voted, or pretty much they essentially expelled the American Green Party from, because, you know, there's a green, like all the green parties are supposedly connected to each other, like through, like, you know, there's like a green worldwide congress or whatever. And in 2024, I remember all of the ones, because it's a very weird tendency in Europe. It's not like ours where it's just like a third party that kind of, you know, the cranks go into.
Yeah.
But I guess there's a kind of cranks too, but they have like a weird, like a lot of the green parties in Europe are like very pro-Israel, which is weird, but it's supposed to be like an eco-socialist / eco, like ecological party style, that it was like developed in the 1970s, essentially during the environmental movement. So they've always had like these weird limits on where their politics go. And it's always been fringe for the reason that it's like an environmental activism kind of movement. And some of them have moved towards being like, you know, more of either labor / socialist politics, or kind of liberal, like, you know, what we would call liberal, not what Europeans would call liberal.
Yeah. And another bit, you know how we're all like, oh, you know, closing off Madison Square Garden is a really bad idea. Well, look what's happening here. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce have reportedly filed a permit request to close streets around Madison Square Garden from July 2nd to 4th. That's closing McGraw, hush. Closing this in 4th of July in New York City. That's
that's kind of crazy.
That's not gonna bode well with everybody.
Larry's older than Bernie. I think still start here. Yeah, I think Larry. I think Larry's like 2 years. I think he's like 82. I want to say.
Yeah, and I remember when he did the DNC, because he represented like the voters abroad at the 2016 DNC, and I was like, oh, Larry. I remember when his son Levy, because it's not pronounced Levi, his name is Levy Sanders. I'm like, why? Bernie, Larry, Levy, I guess. And he friended me on Facebook back like during the primaries the first time around, and like I remember when he was running, and
it's Levi Sanders, right?
No, they pronounce it Levy Sanders.
Oh, that's weird. Because when it's Jewish, it's like Levi.
Yeah, I don't get it. But remember when he was running for something and Bernie didn't even endorse him? I'm like, yeah, you don't want to do nepotism.
Oh crap! Lauren Sanders. Larry Sanders, 91 years old.
Damn.
He's very old.
Damn.
American British academic, social worker, politician, former health and social care spokesperson of the Green Party of England and Wales.
He kind of looks like an older Andy Kindler sometimes.
Yeah, he does. Wait.
Shout out to a friend of ours, Andy Kindler. Look at him.
Yeah, he looks like
he still has he still does have his dark hair. It's kind of crazy. You could see the Sanders the resemblance.
I guess this is in 2008, so he might. I'm sure.
I remember in 2016 and all that, he still had dark hair, and I was like, what? Yeah. That's like 20 years ago. So that's
Oxford
like he's like 71.
Hospital. He's from the Oxford Community Hospital.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of cool for him to actually just move to where it's like, oh, I can get decent health care.
So it looks like the new British Prime Minister is Andy Burnham, who this is what he looks like. I do not like the idea of the UK having a Prime Minister Andy. Like
Andy.
not because of that. I'm just saying, like, I just think it's weird. I feel like it's weird to be like, hello, mate. I'm Andy. Hey, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I'm the Prime Minister. He won the basically he was the mayor of a very popular mayor of a town, and he had previously been an MP for like a while. I'm pretty sure, but he just won like the guy that was the guy that I think he's somewhere near Manchester, but it was like the I forget the exact town, but it was a by-election they had recently, like right after when Keir Starmer was at his most embattled, and they were trying to find a successor for him. And they couldn't find one. I mean, they've lost so many seats. So basically, I think 2 weeks ago they had a by-election, and he won a seat, and they're looking to try to make him the new prime minister, and that's why Keir Starmer stepped down. They also had someone that was like a longtime Labour left guy. that was
Yeah.
running for that seat, and he stepped aside so that Andy Burnham could
Yeah. So
he's like a more, you know, rather than being like someone from like the British, I guess, aristocracy, he's like a little more like from like the, you know, considered at least from like the more working class side of British
it's better than
politics.
nothing.
Although I'm sure if you actually looked into his background, you'd find like some not so working class stuff, but
Yeah.
that's supposedly like the legend behind him.
Yeah. So Supergirl reviews are out, and I do not understand. I no offense to some of you men out there, but some of you really should not just be reviewing, you know, female led films, because it's gotten like a 61% on the Rotten Tomatoes, and it seems like anyone's a critic now, because it's like, you know, the performances are great, the script's a little weak, it's not a big deal. However, it's just so many men were hoping this would bomb. We're hoping we're making Millie Alcott to be like the next Rachel Zegler, because she said, like, you know, some men are not gonna like me, big deal, big whoop. But then they're like, whoa, okay, she's out here shitting on us men, just like Brie Larson and Rachel Zegler did, which again they never really did in the first place. And so, you know, now these reviews are out, these guys could be like, aha, see, we were right all along about her in this movie. No one wants a Supergirl movie. It's like, no, according to you guys, no one wants a female-led superhero movie, period.
Yeah.
So it's just like, but I think it's good. I generally think that it's going to be, because it's only the Variety article that everyone's focused on, but Rolling Stones gave it a pretty good review.
Yeah, I'm looking at the audience reviews right now.
So it seems like a fun movie. You know, there's good chemistry. I mean, everyone's like, this is this screenwriter's first script. She shouldn't be doing that. And I'm like, where's she supposed to start at? Television, short films?
I think she has done short films. It's her first. We looked into it. Yeah.
And I think too, like the screenwriter for Birds of Prey, I think that was like her first thing, and same for the director too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what happens. Like, these are just kind of whoever's gotten to see it. A lot of them are in Spanish for some reason. But
some people are even like, oh, it was so good, but then once the reviews came out, they're like, this thing sucks. And it's like, okay, you already gave your review from like a few weeks ago, but now you hate it because you're bandwagoning.
I don't know. Some of these are like not even. Some of these are very.
They're not even like anything of substance, right?
But I don't know. I'm curious when it actually, like on the 26th, when it actually comes out to like a wider.
Yeah, I'm seeing it on Friday, so I'm looking forward to that. But I mean, I like. I mean, we only had like the Helen Slater Supergirl movie, and then of course we had Melissa Bonet doing the Supergirl for CW, and then of course Sasha, what's her face, for the Flash movie, and everyone's acted like she was better, and it's like, you hated her too. It's you know, you hate the current thing, but then you say, oh, I always loved it type of situation. And it's like that with some of these like you know, anti-woke white dudes who still think that doing this stuff is profitable. Like, it's getting to the point where it's like the slop is not good enough anymore. It was believable at first.
This is an interesting review. This is from like a woman reviewing it, and it's not. I guess they still count this as rotten, but it says, if the problem with the 1984 Supergirl movie is that it's a boring failure, this one comes closer to being an interesting mess. I feel like we're pretty pro interesting messes.
Yeah, because I mean, again, a lot of and a lot of people are like, oh, this is a bad. Of course, we'll talk about that with Supergirl with Alex, but it's like, everyone's like, oh, this is a bad time for the DCU, and I'm like, all of the critical, like the reviews, like the critical acclaim for like Zack Snyder's DCEU was also like worse, like very rotten. Audience scores were better, but like rotten all the way through, except for like stuff that he didn't even write or was attached to, like the Wonder Woman movie, Birds of Prey, James Gunn's Suicide Squad, Aquaman, like stuff that he didn't personally write.
Certainly more endurable than James Gunn's nauseating 2025 take on Superman, but most things don't give you players that you can reasonably make that claim. Most people liked the James Gunn Superman, or a lot of people liked the James Gunn Superman. So
again,
people that are, and I'm not saying that I'm not in this category.
Are these real critics?
Well, I think so. A lot of them are real critics, but it's people that are kind of tired of superhero movies, which I also am tired of superhero movies. But
yeah, but you can be tired of superhero movies without using that as like your baseline for watching this movie or watching any superhero movie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like they're like, it's not like, I mean, you think if you think this wait for fucking Doomsday, that is gonna be a mess because they have 500 people. I don't know how they're gonna, do like 2-second cameo scenes where they're doing something. Like, it's gonna be a mess. I know that for a fact, but I still feel like that the original MCU was off to a slow start. People forget Iron Man, the first Hulk movie, Iron Man 2, were not that well received.
Yeah.
But now look, they had a peak and now they're still faltering. And
I remember watching Iron Man 2 when I was a kid. Like when I was a lot younger, not a kid, but like when I was a teenager. Or I don't know. I don't even remember the year it came out, but I do remember watching it. And I didn't know that like there was gonna be a whole MCU out of it. I was like,
yeah,
it's like, kind of interested. They're doing like Iron Man movies, but then they're like Elon Musk. He's like,
yeah. I know. I feel like this movie's gonna be better than what people assume. I just feel like men are like being like the main herdy-dur woke.
It's just funny when it's like, and like I guess I could also fall into those categories sometimes, but it's funny. But we do like a movie podcast, so we do a movie podcast, movie night show kids.
For those who don't know,
podcast, and it's like it's like there's multiple people. You and Conan are a lot more into superhero movies than I am. Which is fine, like but I don't like. I try not to let that cloud my judgment when we actually do one. It feels like
especially since all the ones that we've done are actually really good.
But it feels like if you're someone that's like a critic and you're specifically a critic and you're kind of tired of being one of the people that are sitting there watching superhero movies, like maybe let somebody else do that review.
Yeah, let someone else who, it's so funny. It's like, with biopics too, it's like, come on now, people, it's getting to the point where biopics are getting out of hand. If you're going to do something creative, do like a Rocket Man or even like Deliver Me from Nowhere thing.
I like the ones where it's like either they do something weird, like the only ones I like at this point.
Like that one created Bob Dylan one, they had multiple people playing him.
Yeah, like if you do something like crazy or weird like that, or if you take somebody that like the Ed Wood kind of stuff, where it's like somebody that nobody knows who that is, and
you kind of exaggerate or do like a flip the script where it's like Weird Al, everything that happened in the Weird Al biopic was just the complete opposite of what actually happened to him. Like his parents were supportive of him playing accordion, but in the movie they're not. So it's like stuff like
you
that.
Gotta do that. It's like it's
Weird Al. You gotta do the flip. Then it's like the Michael Jackson thing with Beat It and Eat It, which is so funny because people are like, why? Because Prince was the only. They're like, Michael Jackson allowed his stuff to get spoofed. I'm like, yeah, that's how you made it. Not Prince though, because he didn't have a personality until later on when he did like the Muppets and New Girl cameos.
Supergirl is a solid entry in the DCU franchise, but Airfield's is focused as Superman. I feel like that's the character, though. I mean, the character it's not Superman. It's
the girl. Apparently she's a hot damn mess because it's kind of like her origin story. Like she lost all her family. She's bitter. She's angry, and she kind of learns to soften up because of her cousin. Like that's a good story.
They need to do superhero Zionism, where they're like,
oh god.
Like this is,
I'm sure Hawk Girl killing the leader of Israel or whatever is definitely not gonna have any ramifications in future DCU movies.
It'd be funny if it was like this is our planet. You and there's already like an alien race living on the planet, and they're like no, this is our planet. God promised us this planet 3,000 years ago.
Yeah.
They're like, see, I found this bottle cap on the ground. It's a superhero bottle cap, and that means that we were here 3,000 years ago. Sorry, get off the planet. That'd be my superhero thing.
Yeah, I just feel like I think it's gonna be better than most people think. If anything, it's because everyone's like, given the reviews, it should be more of like a 65 to 70%. I'm like, it might be like that, but I don't know.
Some of these reviews are interesting. Like some of these reviews, I'm like real deep into it right now. Like real deep on the list.
Because they're really like breaking down like character motives and like stuff. Like it's hopefully the CGI is good enough. Because everyone's like, oh, these movies are taking forever.
The biggest surprise about Supergirl is how little it resembles the film audiences likely expect to see. That kind of makes me want to go see it.
Yeah. Also too, I feel like the promo wasn't as strong. Again, Supergirl hasn't had a movie since the Helen Slater one, and that one was not good. But you know, we've always seen Superman movies, and I like the fact that Millie's cape is made from literally from the same cloth as Christopher Reeve's cape. Like some of the material is like that direct from the one from his, and I'm like, aww.
It seems like they count C+ reviews as rotten, which is kind of weird. Like you would think that they would count C and C+ ones as fresh,
like average or like average to
Like 2.5 out of 4 also sounds like it should be like a fresh one.
That's like a 3-star review on Letterboxd. Like 3-star reviews are like not the best or not the worst. It's like in the middle. It's fair.
A lot of these are like 3 out of 5. This doesn't sound like that's that bad.
Yeah. Because believe it or not, rewatching the Michael movie, I'm like, I think I was too harsh. Jafar is the only thing that's good about that movie.
I'm never gonna see that movie.
Well, I'm gonna be auditioning for part 2 when Lisa Marie comes into the picture, if they do that. So I'm gonna be busy.
It would be very funny if they just never make a second one, because they're gonna
have to though. They already filmed some parts of it where he got all the white makeup for the vitiligo.
Do you think
God, I remember having a music.
You think they're gonna do the when he gets accused of molesting people? Like, I don't know how you handle that in like a biopic.
They can't. The only thing they could talk about is how a father tried to extort it for a Hollywood career. That's the only thing they can tackle.
They talked about when they were asked about it. They're like, well, maybe we'll have this. I feel like they were just blowing off the answer when they're like, maybe we'll see it in part 2.
No, it's literally in the contract. Like they can't even Lisa Marie got sued by the father at one point, but she won.
I don't know.
They can't talk about it, and I'm like, stupid.
But then I feel like the movie is gonna flop real bad.
Nah, it ain't gonna flop. I mean, they gave like a very generic portrayal of him. Of course, it's Michael Jackson. Of course, like everyone's like, why didn't the Elvis movie top? I'm like, because that also gives a sanitized portrayal of him. I get, but that movie was also very boring.
Yeah, I turned the Elvis one.
They made Elvis boring.
And he also there was like rap, like they had rap music in it, and I was like, that's what I turned off.
I will say that too. Thank God they didn't do that shit in the Michael movie, or even in Bohemian Rhapsody, where they bring like modern music in out of nowhere. Don't do that.
They had that scene in
you ain't nothing but a dog.
Slow motion to that like party where all the black guys are, and they're playing rap music. And that's why
they're playing Doja Cat. Yeah,
and that's why I went nope and turned it off, and everyone's back to it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't understand why they're making La Bamba. They're like, we want to introduce a young generation to Richie Valens. I'm like, then watch the original movie. There's no need. Like, it's perfect. They talk about him growing up in the San Fernando Valley. He becomes, he's makes it. He has a very quick, fast career, and then he dies in a plane crash. What is there more to? You don't have to start from like birth till death. Like that's a perfect biopic in my opinion, because it's same thing with the Buddy Holly one. Gary Busey, that's a good one too. I feel like again, like after the 2000s, like the 90s to 2000s is when it's like, okay, these biopics are just all the same. Do something different, do something original, do something creative.
Supergirl's not as assured as Superman, it knows it too well. What it has instead is temperament, a roughness, a willing to let its protagonist be wrong. Well, I guess that's not like women then. Just kidding.
Well, it's like also too when a lot.
We should love this movie as men. It's the only time we'll hear a woman admit that they were wrong.
Yeah, I don't know why these men are bitching. Why?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad. I'm kind of sad that I didn't get to do my get a Supergirl cosplay.
Yeah,
I would have. No, well.
5 Ants Girl.
Yeah, exactly. With the big V right here,
they're having a shortage, and 5 Ants Girl loses her superpowers. It's like they're just like there's a shortage of drugs, and then the 5 Ants Girl just loses her superpowers completely, and that's when that's when like the person comes to like attack the world, and they're like, 5 Ants Girl, we need you to do something. And
yeah, what's happened to 5 Ants?
And they're like I have no super, I can't even concentrate on what I'm doing now.
Yeah, exactly.
Andy Burnham. It's just stuck in my head for 2 days.
You got that stuck in your head, right?
I think that though I really think that this should be the death knell for Kalshi and Polymarket and all these things. Like,
yeah, with the election, like, yeah, because I posted, because like, oh, what's this? Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, any update on this? Like, who? Like, can you imagine how much money these people lost?
there was never a like always a selling point for those things are like, oh, this is that, and they've paired with like CNN at this point, and it's only gonna get worse.
Pop Base or Pop Crave? I think Pop. I'm like, what are you doing? Where am I supposed to get my pop culture news from? Pop Crave now? I guess so, but they post the same stuff except one's sponsored by Polymarket now.
Yeah, but so they have this, and then it's like they're always like, oh, well, actually, this is a very accurate prediction market, and it's like, no, where's the evidence for that? Like, I want to.
There's no evidence. Prediction markets don't.
Yeah,
it's like flipping a coin at this point.
I mean, it's just people manipulate it. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, people manipulate the outcomes because they want a certain outcome, and they think that because now the claim from these websites is it's actually a pretty like they're like, oh, it's actually a pretty accurate way of telling these things. Just who's going to waste money on something? Number one, a lot of people, if you're already rich, because you want to change the odds. The point isn't to win the money, essentially. Like, the point is to change the odds on the thing so that it kind of you create your own reality, which sometimes does work.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like you see this, and it's like I've never seen them provide evidence that their things have been particularly. I mean, one of the things is that they called the 2024 election, but unless you were delusional like I was being at the time, where I was like, "There's no way we're gonna let this guy back in, right?"
Yeah,
like,
Dan was very confident. Kept telling us to shut up, and I was like, dude's having a manic episode, peace and love. But I was like, dude, it doesn't look good. Like, even my sister was here, and she's like, I'm feeling sick to my stomach. I'm like, I'm feeling it too. I'm feeling it too. I couldn't even sleep. I was just laying in bed like this, like, oh my god. And again, how the hell did Democrats do well on an odd election midterms? I still think Ashley St. Clair is right about, like, Elon had to have done something. He had to have done something.
I don't know. I mean, the 2022 one makes sense because it was the first midterms after Roe versus Wade, and there was gonna always be like a backlash to that getting overturned. Yeah. But it kind of sucks. It didn't last the full 4 years. It lasted just 2.
Yeah, Democrats just fall asleep at the wheel. They don't do anything. They just expect us to give them $5 to save democracy, but. I mean, did you see Jamie Harrison's?
I'm no longer. Yeah, I did. I'm no longer asking. Please.
Yeah. That was like I had this is how lived up I was. I was like, let's go. Like, after 2020, I became so like officially more black pilled about like the Democratic Party, specifically here. It's like I had a Jamie Harrison poster on him. I was like, this guy's gonna, and he didn't. And then when he became the head of the DNC, I'm like, what is he doing? He hasn't done anything.
He is one of the ugliest people I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
He looks like a Pixar character.
Yeah.
I say this with no wait. I'm not gonna do it. He's like a lisp, so I'm not gonna do it. But I say this with no ill will or animosity. If you hate the Democratic Party, then please don't run for a nomination. Please don't use our resources. Rely on the volunteers. Please don't use
what resources. Like, he's listing all these things. I'm like, what resources? You guys don't help.
Also, he's no longer the chair of the DNC. Like, he doesn't have.
That was a consolation prize for when he lost to Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, he's a podcaster. His podcast has 529 followers. Like, his podcast has no followers. His podcast has 529 followers.
Jesus,
who's watching? I don't think anyone's watching this.
No.
His last episode has
this is getting no engagement, no retweets, no likes, no comments.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This one is 1. This one is 0. He has a passer on at 0.
It's like when the Daily Wire goes live and they only have 7 people watching.
0.
Damn.
You know what? I feel sometimes I see something like this, or I see the one from the Washington Post where they have the thing, and I actually feel better about like being a small, because like, you know, people don't like, if people don't watch Movie Day Extravaganza, it's like, yeah, it sucks, but like, who the fuck am I, you know? Like, but then you see like, you know, the entire like the resource of the Washington Post behind something and nobody's watching it. You're like, oh, you suck.
Yeah, you have resources and reasons to be.
I don't know which Pixar character Mr. Potato Head.
Mr. Potato Head.
No, I don't know, but he just looks like someone who would be a Pixar character.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's one he had a for many years in South Carolina with Jim Clyburn, one
Of
like
course. Ugh.
Stephanie Miller,
Okay.
0. I'm trying to see. He doesn't even have big guests. There was someone I forget. Oh, it was that Armin. You know that Armin guy that used to be on all the time that used to be on Twitter all the time. Armin, I forget his last name. He was like this random kid. Yeah. So that kid, like, because he had worked on like all these things or whatever, he had this podcast that no one was listening to, but he was having like senators and like even like he was also having like Matt Iglesias on it. But like, but he was having like big guests, and then you would look at his podcast and it had like 100 followers, and nobody was liking it or retweeting it. And I was like, these guests are like, you're going so far above, like punching so far above your weight. I'm actually kind of impressed by this.
Yeah. Some
I
people.
think he had Ruben Gallego to the polls. So.
Oh God, really? Isn't he like in some hot water now too?
Because he was he spent a bunch of money. It was kind of the worst sentence I've ever read. He blew a bunch of campaign money, and one of the things he did is he went to the Super Bowl with Eric Swalwell and his wife.
I remember that now.
Eric Swalwell doesn't have a wife. What if Eric Swalwell wore his diaper to the?
What if Eric Swalwell had a?
Eric Swalwell and him were like best friends, and then it seems like he was trying to make Graham Plattner his new best friend, and it was like, please stay away from him, stay away from Graham Plattner.
Man, that's funny.
But yeah, it was like he blew a bunch of money, and it was like the sentence was like, Gallego and his wife blew a bunch of money to go to the Super Bowl, like campaign money to go to the Super Bowl, and on childcare, and they went with Eric Swalwell, and it was like, this looks bad. Like this does not look good. Did Eric Swalwell rape anyone while he was at the Super Bowl? Like,
we don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. That guy was great. Like, you could tell there was something off with that guy.
Yes, I don't understand. Like, I'm like, does he not give like sleazy vibes? Like,
good day.
Good day.
Yeah, he gave me the sleaziest vibes. And then there was that whole scandal where he slept with a woman who it was consensual in this case, but he slept with a woman that turned out to be a Chinese spy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one too.
And this was like 2 years before. I think he wasn't even the only member of Congress that got seduced by this woman who turned out to be a Chinese spy.
Can you imagine getting seduced by that?
I don't know. It was like, what are you telling me? This really hot Chinese woman that I just met wasn't into me because I'm a congressman?
Yeah.
But it's like,
maybe.
I don't know. This it's one of those like stories that it's like that should have been a red flag.
Red
that
flag.
That should have been a red flag where you're like, I got some questions about what else this guy's been up to.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not just gonna be the Chinese spy. I think it was like Fang Fang or something too. Like it was like something that you sound racist for just saying it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Eesh. Oof.
Yeah.
Eesh.
I was watching El Dorado last night, and it's like, it was like this. It was like, I don't know. I've been watching all the Robert Mitchum movies, but it's John Wayne and Robert Mitchum as cowboys, and it's like one of those Howard Hawks movies. And it's like a pretty standard, like it started off as a pretty standard like Western or whatever. Like, you could tell they're going to team up and they're going to take on the guys that are like trying to steal the water rights or whatever. But then halfway through this movie, James Caan shows up in a stupid hat, like, and everyone's like, "What the fuck are you wearing on your head?" And he's like,
"Oh
God, it's a hat. You haven't seen a hat before." And then at one point, he just does squinty eyes and starts doing fake Chinese, and I was like, "Oh, you couldn't make this today." Like that, he's like, he disguises himself by putting on a different hat and then doing doing that with his eyes, and then he's like speaking like fake Chinese, and I was like, oh, you couldn't make El Dorado today.
Well, you couldn't make Breakfast and Tiffany. But I mean, like, also, like, I love reading Olay's watching Olay's video about like, this aged poorly, like has kind of like ruined like analyzing stuff, because it's like, yeah, we get it, some stuff is dated, don't need to have a cow.
Don't have a cow, man. I don't know. I always just think it's funny when that happens. I'm just like, it doesn't take away my like enjoyment of watching whatever it is. I'm just like I'm always like, wow, like the what we've allowed into like movies and stuff has really changed over the course.
It's like when people say, "Oh, you can't make a Mel Brooks movie today." I'm like, "Well, I have some news for you. he is making a movie now. Like,
I mean, El Dorado is the movie that Blazing Saddles essentially like is parodying for a lot of it.
spoof,
Because
yeah.
he's, Robert Bishop's like he's a drunk sheriff, and his sleeping in a jail and has to get woken up by John Wayne, and he's like his hand is like he's like look at this, steady as a rock, but I shoot with this hand.
Yeah, exactly.
But the two movies are that and like Rio Bravo, I think, which is the one with like Dean Martin, which is like essentially the same movie.
Yeah, there's sometimes where it's kind of like how like Immaculate and The First Omen are kind of like the same movie because they basically follow the same plot. You know,
But it's like Howard Hawks made 3 movies with Lee Brackett, who Lee Brackett wrote Empire Strikes Back, or was the first like the first draft of Empire Strikes Back, and she made these 3 movies with Howard Hawks, and it was like his 3 of his last movies, and they were all westerns. They all had like a similar plot. It was like it was like a drunk sheriff, but one of them, Dean Martin's the drunk sheriff, and one of them, Robert Mitchum's the drunk sheriff. Like, I think it's Rio Lobo, it's Rio Bravo, and it's El Dorado, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, one of my favorite like westerns is I think my favorite western is The Searchers.
Yeah,
we should cover that one. Do like a western theme if you can.
I'm pretty sure when they did you see Buster Scruggs, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the final one where they're all in the carriage or whatever. I think a lot of like it was taken from like The Searchers, or part of that was when they're all in the carriage and they're going towards death. Yeah. I've seen like a
Natalie
lot of
Wood couldn't play an Indigenous girl today, but back then she was Russian and she had a little bit of an olive skin tone. She was able to play from mixed race to Indigenous. Yeah, she played a mixed race French girl in a movie. I forgot what it's called. It's called Frank Sinatra and Tony Curtis.
They let John Wayne play Genghis Khan.
That was not problematic at all. What are you talking about?
I feel like if you like took issue with it, you could be like, yeah, well, I think what Genghis Khan did was problematic. So
yes.
But yeah, so on so not on Tuesday this time, and we're gonna figure out. I guess probably Tuesday we'll do this show, and then Wednesday, because we're gonna do Wednesday, and then our good friend Alex, I think, is gonna be on with us to talk about Supergirl.
Yeah,
he's nodding in the
yeah,
he's nodding in the what do you call it, the my brain's not working right now.
The cubicle. I don't know what to call it. Backstage.
No, you call it the backstage. Yeah, he's nodding backstage. So yeah, I guess we can cut it there. Shout out to all the DSA candidates that won. Shout out to Larry Sanders, he's 91 years old. Shout out to
hope to God we don't kill him.
Shout out to Genghis Khan, I guess. All right.
Shout out to my cat.